Narayana. Welcome all. Remember our 11 Vyaktitvas. Prerna Yukta Vyaktitvam, Parishrami Vyaktitvam, Sadhakatvam, Shrotrutvam, Jignasutvam, Mamukshutvam, Shishyatvam, Bhaktatvam, Viragitvam, Dharma Sevakatvam, Loka Sevakatvam. Just feel which is the need of for us, for our evolution at this moment. Work on that more. If one day we can plan with all these things every day, that would be much better, in fact. Then our contracts, 6 of them, all the time, as much as possible. The Parabrahma Anusandhana, Ishvara Sharanagati, the Shakti Prarthana, the Devatas Upasana, the Gurus, obedience Vidheyata, Shastra, Nirantara Anusandhanam or Adhyana. These are the ones which can put us on the path wonderfully. Shwethashwathara Upanishad, Sambandha Bhashyam. First chapter. GNANI has no compulsions, either of doing something or not doing something. Even while doing papa or punya, it is from our angle of looking at. But from his side, there is no papa or punya. All are blessings to the world. This is the portion we are studying, and quotations from various shastras are being put. So, isn't it? We are working, but Punya Baba is not touching. Is it not a good way of life? Great thing. So, that's achieved only after knowing the self becoming Jnani. So, the entire topics under discussion are only to put in front of us that the Jnana is Moksha Hetu. Seek it. If you are not able to seek, understand some impurities are in that in our heart. To remove them, involve in the karma. Involve in karma only for purification of the heart, not for anything else. Then believe and know that only jnana is the mukti hetu. Karma is not directly. And having theoretically understood these things, then plunging into sadhana. That is what is the purpose of studying all. Finally, how much ever we study, understanding is important. How much ever we understand, practicality is important. And the practice has to be regular, serious, sincere. On that, we have to give more power or strength. जोर बल उस विषय पे देने का टाइम आया है. Before we do all that, before we do our Sakalpa, a 2-3 minutes. Today's discussion is this much. Very simple, very short. One word we'll discuss today. The word is risk. RISK, the risk. One, start reducing taking the risks or stop taking risks. And the other side, start taking the risks. What is that stopping to take the risk is every thought, word, and deed which is worldly is a risk only. Which is worldly is a risk because it is binding us with karma phala others one side. It is binding with us with the vasana formation other side. It is strengthening our delusion about the world as real. It is strengthening our ignorance about the Paramatma. In 4 ways, every thought, word, and deed we do to the world is creating problems for us. And that's why every thought, word, and deed related to the world is a risk only. Thus, reduce taking that risks. Stop taking those risks. Main point, work out the details on that. That sensitivity in us, that at this very moment, what I am doing, kaya, vacha, mansa, is it helping me to evolve or is it strengthening my bondage? If it is strengthening my bandhanam, bondage, why take risk when we know it? And all problems are because we don't know. But not knowing is not a solution. Knowing is the only way to come out of doing what's not to be done. So let us know it. Anything, even casually, you open the cell phone, look at some matter, that also is risk only. Because one, the moment is wasted. Second, we have done Bahirmukha karma. Third, the information not required for spirituality gathered. Four, it has added to the vasana or habit. How many ways, if you think, it is only a detrimental thing for our spirituality, isn't it? I'm just giving an example. A risk. So, can you avoid watching phone? No. Therefore, what to do? Once in 2 hours, 3 hours, not 24 hours. That's what we said. Reduce taking the risks. Slowly reduce को ले जाकर stop तक हम ले जाएंगे. In this way, in so many other things, the Vishaya Vastus, the Vyaktis, any karma, kaya, vacha, manasa, done by us, when the subject or the theme or purpose is world and worldliness, it is we accept or not, it's a risk. That risky factor we may not see now, but it will be slowly. What is the risk here in spirituality? We are not given permission or we don't have the strength to focus on the self or the spirituality. यही रिस्क है इसमें. ऐसा नहीं है कि हमको नरक में भेजेंगे, ऐसा नहीं कि हमको जेल में डालेंगे. Not that type of risk. The risk is spiritually we are weakened by these things. We are not allowed to go towards it. Even a small thought, small action, small word spoken worldly. A person of money minded, how he is mindful about every penny by and rupee. He will not do that risky thing of wasting even 1 rupee. है कि नहीं? जिन्होंने उस पैसे का वैल्यू जानता है वो और नहीं करेगा. He is so sensitive. Spiritual sensitive person also is so fully aware कि मुझे पूरा मेरे जीव भाव से I have to come out. तो उपाधि तादात्म्य I have to come out. The worldliness I have to come out. Isn't it? Then every moment, what am I doing? Am I doing contrary to this knowledge? Then I am taking risk only. I am cheating myself. I am fooling myself. I am my own Shatru. I am my own liability. Like yesterday we saw, while Yoga Vasishta mein, Sri Ramji clearly says, Indriyani eva Shatravaha, Manasa eva Ripohu, Kalankita Ahankara. Isn't it? How clearly Ramji categorically said. So, how casual we are. एक बात हमको सोचना है. थोड़ा बुरा लगेगा. मैं तो मेरे लिए बोल रहा हूँ. Then it is safe. कि इतना उम्र आ गया कि we have not learned the art of संभालो अपने आप को. So how बुद्धू ignorant we are. In व्यवहार also पूरा अपने आप को संभालना we have not learned. In that संभालना we need the help of others. Take it. But संभालो yourself. Like I have to manage myself. 100% I can't do everything. I need help from others. Take the help, but manage myself. इतना हो गया, we are still on many things being people dependent. Second is same thing. इतना हमारा उम्र हो गया. Spiritually we have not संभालो ourselves. What's happening within us? What's happening by us, for us? Are we so ignorant, so foolish, so childish that we can't know what puts us in samsara more and more now and in future? We can't know that for ourselves. We have to check like this. We have to question like this. From these questions only, the answers will come. The biggest answer is this key. It is I who is responsible for my spiritual non-progress or progress. God is doing what He has to do. Guru is doing what they have to do. We need not tell them. We need not even pray to God. He knows what to do. If we know what we have to and do, what God has to do, He knows it. He does it. You know, like the whole world is run by the Ishvara. Ishvara Shakti से ही सारे साधनाएं होते हैं. But is that thought making us lazy, irresponsible? Yes, that's why pray to Ishvara, but no, that Ishvara is doing what he has to do. We only are not doing what we are to do. Whether that is intellectual thinking and clearly understanding, whether it is emotionally ourselves applying to that which we have to do, whether it is involving with senses and body, it is we who are lacking. So I have to be responsible. I have to take charge. I must do what I am supposed to do. This is the most need of the hour. Then once we do what we can, then we can with full confidence go to Ishwar and say, Bhagwan, what I have to have done, now the ball is in your court. अब क्या बॉल हमारे कोर्ट में और हम कहते हैं उनको तुम थोड़ा उसको मारो अरे इट इज इन योर प्लेस व्हेन यू हिट इट व्हेन इट कम्स टू माय कोर्ट आई विल हिट ball is in your court is like tennis and all. So reducing the risk, think about it more cool. है ना जैसे बिजली का तार है कोई प्रॉब्लम डू वी टेक द रिस्क ऑफ जस्ट होल्डिंग द वायर जस्ट लाइक दैट वी डोंट डू इट when we know that bottle contains the poison we don't take the risk of consuming it when we know there is some danger we will not take risk our life same way when do we become sensible and sensitive to understand that everything done thought word did worldly is a risk only and risk not a tentative pakka risk that it is going to create obstacle problem one day or the other on the path spiritual हमको उतना सेंसिटिव होना चाहिए then be absolutely careful to avoid those risks one point same is the other side we have to start taking risks of sadhana sadhana is never a risk but then because we have fears because we have doubts, because we have inhibitions, we are using this word कि यहाँ risk ले लो और ये फायदा वाला ही है. Here also, even one thought, word and deed done spiritually is definitely going to help us today or tomorrow. तो ये वाले रिस्क जितना हम कम करते हैं ये वाले रिस्क हमको उतना ज़्यादा लेना है. A risk of reducing the quantity of food taken if that's required, if that's causing the heftiness, heaviness, laziness. A risk of avoiding the interactions and entertainments, if they are creating more laziness, tamoguna, isn't it? Then risk of, uska opposite, risk of getting up early, risk of doing that japa upasana, टेक द रिस्क ऑफ ओपनिंग द बुक एंड देखो क्या तबाह हो जाएगा भूकंप आएगा देखते हैं क्या होगा है ना रिस्क ऑफ रियली सिटिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ द लॉर्ड एंड रियली डूइंग इज उपासना हमको डर लगता है पता नहीं क्या होगा साधना करूंगा तो दैट वी डोंट ओकली से बट समथिंग इज देयर इन अस pulling us back not allowing us to do these necessary sadhanas Then to avoid that, we are using the word ले लो risk. Guru पूजा risk ले लो, भगवत पूजा risk ले लो, शास्त्र श्रवण risk ले लो, शास्त्र अध्ययन वाला risk ले लो, है ना, तीर्थ यात्रा वाला risk ले लो, भगवान नाम risk. More and more these risks we have to do. Risk of ध्यान, है ना, taking this. Why it's a risk? Because पता नहीं हो गया, उड़ने लगे तो. Today our yoga darshanam will see that only. आकाशादि गमनम. Learn the art of risk. The feeling risk क्या है ना, कुछ छोड़ने को कुछ पकड़ने को हमको डर लगता रहता है. अब बिना छोड़े नहीं पकड़ सकते, बिना पकड़े छोड़ नहीं सकते, और बिना इन दोनों समझ कर करने से we can't avoid samsara, we can't evolve spiritually. Anyone it is. The veham in us, either it is a laziness or it is an attractions or dependencies, भोग बुद्धि प्रवृत्ति, और the veham, डर लगने लगता. Because of any of these things, we don't do what we have to do. We are not able to give up what we have to give up for Adhyatmic Pragati. Basically, this is the thought. So, take it as a challenge that way. Today, I'll take a risk of whole day, I'll not do this thing. होगा क्या देखेंगे, which is detrimental to spirituality. I'll take the risk of not involving in that. This is how we gain confidence. We gain conviction. Confidence that we can do, conviction that doing that is required. अपने आप की कन्विक्शन होना, कॉन्फिडेंस होना चाहिए. जिस चीज़ पे हम काम करते हैं उस पर कन्विक्शन होना चाहिए. कॉन्फिडेंस इन माई सेल्फ, कन्विक्शन अबाउट द थिंग टू बी डन. उसमें फर्स्ट वन इज रिस्क ऑफ गिविंग अप, रिस्क ऑफ नॉट इन्वॉल्विंग इन संसार. हियर आल्सो द पॉजिटिव वंस टेक द रिस्क. क्या होगा हम देखेंगे, है ना. That risk. Okay, today the Shivananda Lahari text, 5 mantras or 4 mantras. Let me take a risk of revisiting them. Let me take the risk of trying to become consciously, conspicuously clear what is said word by word by Shankara, and which is the Shiva Bhakti, Shiva Upasana, Shiva Ananda Lahari technique is given in that. Let me understand it. Let me try 5 minutes to do so. देखो क्या होगा. Or Sri Ram ji is saying these things. Let me go through them again. Feel for me. Risk lena. In the same way, no? The risk, let me do 10 minutes contemplation. 5 minutes meditation का risk. 2 minute का प्राणायाम. 5 minute का जप. Risk, like yesterday we saw exhaustively again Shivanandalari, परसों भी कल भी. कंचित काल मुमा महेश भवतः पादार विंदार्चनैहि. That's called risk only. थोड़ा समय भगवान का पादार विंदार्चना का रिस्क. Then we get हिम्मत हौसला in doing this. वो भी हिम्मत हौसला to be able to keep it away. Why? Because the whole thing is only this much. That without this thing I cannot exist. Therefore, it is so essential. We are in a strong, deep delusion. This is called delusion. And the ignorance is it is only through spiritual sadhanas of all these sorts that we set right our upadhis, we integrate our upadhis, we go beyond the upadhis and recognize Paramatma. ये ज्ञान नहीं होना इधर, वहाँ delusion होना. These are the causes of samsara. So when we take the risk of keeping away, the delusion goes away. That I can live without them. They're not so necessary. That achievement is freedom from delusion. मोह से बाहर आना हमको. ये वो नहीं होने से मैं नहीं रह सकता. This called मोह. मतलब by not doing or but not by not involving or by not indulging, I can't be. That is delusion. Actual point क्या है? We are that self which is supporting everything, who is independent of everything. ये ज्ञान नहीं होने के कारण ये यहाँ का delusion होता है. And then both of them, Ajnana strengthens the delusion, delusion supports the Ajnana. देखो ignorance and delusion, Ajnana and Moha. We have to reverse both. Here, reduce the delusion by taking these risks and come out of that. And here, reduce the ignorance by enhancing the knowledge. या अभी रिस्क ही लेना है. रिस्क क्यों? क्योंकि वहम है, हमको डर लग रहा. लाइक डू द एक्सरसाइज, सम वहम कम, नो 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 मेरे को कुछ एक कुछ अंदर का ना वो पकड़ा रहता है वहम हमको, विच इज इनएक्सप्लिकेबल. बट सम भूत है वो, कुछ सम भयंकर कुछ है जो जो नहीं करना है करवाती है, जो करना है वो नहीं करने देती. उसको वन भगवत ईश्वर उपासना कृपा, उससे थोड़ा वी विन. बट अलॉन्ग विथ इट वी शुड ऑल्सो जंप इन टू. This is the crucial point. We have to jump into doing both risks. One is risk of avoiding there, here the risk of doing this one. Isn't it? Somebody invited us. Think about the gravity of the necessity of our going there. Isn't it? If Vaki it is not so important, take the risk of saying I can't come. No, avoiding to go there, don't sleep again. Take the risk of using that time for sadhana. Isn't it? That's called risk. Anyway, like the mind also suggests. So sleep 1 hour extra. Mind कहती है वो. Then we have to take the risks both. No, this 1 hour I'll not sleep. I'll try to do vasana, sadhana there. देखेंगे क्या होगा? मर जाऊंगा क्या मैं? No, this is how a seeker struggles inside to conquer himself. खुद को जय करे. We have to conquer our own life. We have to conquer our own doings and not doings and misdoings. दिस ऑल स्पिरिचुअलिटी. आध्यात्मिक मतलब मैं पूरा पकड़ पाया हूँ मेरे जीवन पे. इन विच व्हाट नॉट टू डू आई नो एंड आई हैव अवॉइडेड इट. व्हाट टू डू आई एम क्लियरली अवेयर एंड दैट alone I am doing. Imagine that state of maturity where exactly what to do is 100% is happening and not to do exactly is totally avoided. This is called as freedom. This, as a human being, we have to achieve. We will achieve it when we keep it as goal and slowly work towards it by taking these two risks. Avoid the risk, take up the risk wala. And the basic for both of them is how come I am a liability to myself? How come I am not matching with my own age or any other outer achievements as regards spirituality is concerned? Why am I at such a lowest ebb? Can't I better myself? Why I'm not taking myself into confidence, myself, and observing every movement, observing every doings, observing the role of every of the faculties. क्या हो रहा है मेरे बुद्धि में, मन में, इंद्रियों में, शरीर में, व्यवहार में. you know how much I can master it, control it, avoid what's not to be done and do what's to be done. In this way, the one who becomes introverted and without taking casually, sincerely takes oneself and thinks about these two risks, risk of giving up, risk of taking up. Then that joy is different because in that person, the conscious effort is Paramatma. Paramatma is expressing. उसका आनंद होता है. Like you have a car driver. Every day takes you everywhere. One day you drove yourself. The joy of driving ourselves one day is more than joy of riding, being having the driver every day. You have to know because when I do myself, the self in me gets expressed. Even cooking, every day somebody is cooking, eating. You eat. You can't avoid. But one day, khud banao, even if it's not tasty. But the Paramatma in us is expressing as Kriya Shakti. Oh, Ananda आता है. That Ananda we have to enjoy. Ki I am responsible for my life. I myself am consciously avoiding those nonsenses which were destroying me. I am taking that risk and I myself consciously doing what I have to do. इस आनंद से बढ़कर दुनिया में दूसरा कोई आनंद नहीं. And in this, if we establish fully and reach up to the final level of totally rejecting all upadhi tadatmya, totally identifying with the true self, fulfillment हो गया. So think about the risks. Om 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 Sahanavavatu Sahanam Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsarashibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhya. ओम यैरिमे गुरुवे पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याता सर्ववेदान्ताः तान्नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्. ॐ निधये सर्वविद्यानां विषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्. ॐ विदिताखिलशास्त्रसुधाजलधे महितोपनिषद्गदितार्थनिधे हृदये कलये विमलं चरणं भवशङ्करदेशिकमे शरणम्. ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तन्नमामि परं ब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्त ब्रह्मविद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो नमः. श्री श्वेताश्वतर उपनिषदः आचार्येभ्यो अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. संकल्पः तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषदुक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधेन अस्मिन् क्षणे एव मोक्षकैवल्य प्राप्त्यर्थं सनातनधर्मस्य वैदिक हिंदू संस्कृतेः पुनरुत्थानजागरण विश्वव्याप्ति विश्व आध्यात्मिक प्रगति एकता शांति पुरोभिवृद्ध्यर्थम् अस्मिन् धर्मसंस्थापने कङ्कणबद्ध अस्माकं सह सर्वेषां पूर्णायुरारोग्यैश्वर्यक्षेमस्थैर्यधैर्यवीर्यादि शक्तिसम्पदा सानुकूल्यता साधनानां प्राप्ति बाह्य अभ्यन्तर शत्रुविघ्ननिर्मूलनेन धर्मसंस्थापनकार्ये निरन्तर दिग्विजयार्थं अनेक शास्त्राणाम अध्ययन साधना प्रयत्न मध्ये श्री कृष्ण यजुर्वेदीय श्वेताश्वतरोपनिषद आद्य शंकर भाष्य समेत अध्ययन साधना प्रयत्न मोक्षार्थ वयम सर्वे करिष्यामहे. मंगलाचरण श्लोक है. ओम नित्यानंदम निराधारम निखिलाधारम अव्ययम निगमाद्यगतम नित्यम नीलकंठम नमाम्यहम्. अथ प्रथमोऽध्यायः शांति मंत्रः. ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः. ओम शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. अथ संबंध भाष्यम्. So Lainge we have to do in the quotations of the Linga Purana. So what was said so vehemently, substantially, giving special peculiar meanings to the sentence of Ishavasya Upanishad, especially the shloka number 2. Kurvanneva iha karmani jijivishet shatakam samaha. This sentence is not a compulsion to involve in karma at the cost of jnana. Point 1. Second is, this is the Vishaya for the Avidwan. who is impure in his heart. For him to purify himself, he should totally involve in the purification karmas. Lest without jnanam, already half he is gone. If karma also will not do, he'll become like a tamoguni stony only. Therefore, for the antakarana shuddhi, for a avidwan only, this sentence literal meaning should be taken. What is that? Karmani kurvan eva shatakam samaha jijivishetu. That's the meaning. Kurvan eveha karmani jijivishet shatakam samaha. Then, what Bhagavan did here was, which is very cute, beautiful, even though Purva Pakshi quoted only this much. Siddhanti is such a great wise person. The second half of the shloka, which that Purva Pakshi did not quote, uske आधार पर Siddhanti is giving newer wisdoms. You know what is the second line there? Evam tvai nanyathetosти na karma lipyate nare. Evam tvai nanyatha itaha asti. You don't have any other option than these two for evolving. Option 1 was Ishavasamidagam, directly meditate on the truth. If that's not possible, the option 2 of involving in the Nishkama Karma Yajna Upasana to become Shuddha and Antakarana so that we are qualified for the first one. Evam tvahi na anyatha itaha asti. For you as a human being to evolve other than these two, there are no options. Then the last pada of the shloka was na karma lipyate nare. That here Shankara Bhagavan is using. Na karma lipyate nare means what? The jnani, if you are already, you are fully freedom given. You do punya karma, you are do papa karma. Because of all of that, some other result will not come. Nor the papa phala of narakadi you get, nor from the Atma Jnana you become च्युता और स्लिप्ड. तीनों नहीं होंगे. घबराओ मत. कुर्वन्नेव कर्माणि जियो न लिप्यते. बिकॉज मैं आत्मज्ञानी अगर कुछ करूंगा तो फंस जाऊंगा. इस डर से डोंट बिकम निष्कर्मी. Allow the divine to express through you. Don't be afraid. Once Atmajnani, you can't be touched by karma, good or bad. That freedom license to a jnani is what is mentioned there. Oh my dear Guru Bakshi, it's not a compulsion. That fase raho karma mein 100 saal ki there is no time at all for jnana. Therefore there is no moksha. No. See, na punyadi bandha भयात पुण्यादिकम त्यक्त्वा तूष्णीम अवतिष्ठेत. पुण्य पाप का करने से उसका फल आएगा. इट विल बाइंड मी विद दैट भय. डोंट बी इन द तूष्णी स्थिति. ऑन द अदर हैंड एवं तावत कर्माणि कुर्वति अपि विदिशित्वयि. All those karmas, punya, bhava, even though you do the vidvan, vidusha, even then, if you do into you, yavat jiva anushthanad, even lifelong also you do them, anyata bhava, swarupat prachyutihi, punyadi nimitta samsara अन्वयः न अस्ति. पुण्यादि के कारण भावी उत्तर जन्मों में संसार होना और स्वरूपात प्रच्युति ही from the experience of the self falling down, then अन्यथा भावः some other untoward unwanted result. ये तीनों नहीं होते हैं. Therefore अथ एव इतः कर्म अनुष्ठान उत्तर काल भावी अन्यथा भावः संसारान्वयः न अस्ति. That's called Jnanagni Sarvakarmani Bhasmasat Kurti Arjuna. Jnana Dagda Karmanam Tamahu Panditam Buddha. He being one with the self, his doings are divine expressions. In him, a Jiva Karta, identifying the limited upathis, seeking some sukha pleasure, as a result of a karma, all that set is selected and deleted. So neither he can be Karta nor he can be Bhokta. So therefore, that what he does is not such a karma which binds. That's called as divinity expressing through him. He doesn't do. The world invokes from him what's required for it. Other version, other way of seeing it. But directly address करके कहते हैं घबराना नहीं, ये तीनों चीजें नहीं होते हैं, स्वरूप प्रच्युति नहीं होगा, पुण्य पाप करने का भावी जन्म नहीं होगा, एंड देन द समथिंग अनवांटेड रिजल्ट ये भी नहीं होगा. Then having said so, yasmat tvayi vinyastam na karma lipyate. To you who have become a wise person, karma doesn't touch. That was the fourth pada of that shloka. Kurvan evaya karmani, first padam. Jiji vishet shatakam samaha, second padam. Evam tvayi nanyatha itahasti, third padam. Na karma lipyate nare. That's what he says. Ki इत्यस्मात् त्वयि विन्यस्तं न कर्म लिप्यते. त्वयि नरे लिप कर्म विन्यस्तं कर्म न लिप्यते. So you are gnani, when you do the karma, that doesn't bind you. Even you do, even it's a papa karma, ghora karma, bhayankara karma. Only example is Bhagwan himself. He does the ghora karma of entire pralaya of the world. इससे घोर कर्म नहीं होता ना, नाश ही घोर कर्म है. That he does it, but do you think he will be punished and he will be sent to Naraka? No, because he is not doing it as a karta for a karma phala. And also, he is always in his own self. So too will not get a great swargadi phala because he is also doing the other job of creation and the maintenance. सृष्टि स्थिति लय करने से पुण्य, सृष्टि स्थिति करने से पुण्य, लय करने से पाप भगवान को नहीं लगते. Because two things, he is not a limited karta expecting some karma phala. Second, he is infinite, he is established in the infinite self. इसलिए all the three सृष्टि स्थिति लय do not bind him. That's the best example. And therefore the summary is what? Through karma, antakarana shuddhi, and through jnana, atma prapti, moksha. यदि ज्ञान प्राप्ति नहीं हुआ आत्मज्ञान, बंधन रहेगा. अंतकरण अशुद्धि है तो विल इन्वॉल्व इन द वर्ल्ड फॉर द भोग, एंड इन दैट lot of risks of doing adharma, papa, dushkarma, they all are there. Then we are spoiled person now. It's like a person ऑफिस में बढ़िया सा काम कर रहा है, 10 साल 15 साल, wonderful he is doing his. Suddenly he got interest in more money, so he started taking bribe. So he has spoiled his life. Now उसके बाद it will be found, then he'll be suspended, there's a case in the court, salary will be stopped, half salary will be given, even the other benefits are stopped, no promotion. Why should he do all that? In the same way, be spiritual, realize the self. Why allow antakarna ashuddhi? Why involve in the world in doing adharma, papa, dushkarma? सीधा साधा जिंदगी चलाओ ना. This way we should understand from these shlokas. The main meaning, the secondary meaning, the useful meanings, all of them. No, for that, the quotations we started yesterday, 3 or 4 are told. बृहदारण्यक से चांदोग्य से क्या क्या कहा कि तथा च श्रुत्यंतरम. अरे नॉट ओनली ईशावास्य, in many other shrutis also this is said. For your reference, I am referring them, quoting them. What are they? First one, na lipyate karmana papakena. Refer to Bhashyam Upanishad, fourth adhyaya, fourth khanda. See the 23rd mantra. Na lipyate karmana papakena. He will not be tainted by the papa karma. He does it, but it will not touch him. And understand, it is not even karma for him. How can you call it as papa karma? But for the onlookers, it appears to be papa. So, nalipyate karmana papakena. कोटेशन एक मिल गया कि नहीं? ज्ञानी के बारे में कह रहे, ज्ञानी इज नॉट tainted by the papa karma. One meaning of it is what? Once he is a jnani, divine expresses through him. Divine only blesses the world. It does no papa karma nor any punya. Punya papa are done by an individual. And for gaining sukha, but through one he gets sukha, but it ends through other he only gets dukha. Nanipyate karmana papakena. A jnani is in a different stage. A papa vritti will never come to him. And anything he does, even though for onlookers it appears to be papa, it will not touch him. Then why it happened? It had to happen through him in a in a disguised form as a blessings only in that situation. Like in Puranas, when we study, we come across lots of doubts to which this is an answer. But why did Durvasa curse him? Then it's a papa. ये ब्रह्म ज्ञानी उनको टच नहीं करता हो. भगवान का एग्जाम्पल दे ही दिया हमने. लाइक ही किल्ड वाली फ्रॉम बिहाइंड, सो वो तो पाप कर्म होना चाहिए. ऐसे ऐसे लॉट ऑफ डाउट्स वी गेट टू एन इंडिविजुअल हु इज इनकम्प्लीट लिमिटेड जीवा. उन्हीं को पुण्य पाप टच करते. एंड यू शुड अवॉइड पाप, डू पुण्य. देन डू पुण्य कर्म विदाउट फलापेक्षा लीड्स टू अंतःकरण शुद्धि, क्वालिफाइज फॉर ज्ञानम. Get it and get moksha. Next one. Evam vidhi papam karma na lipyate. In this way, when he realizes himself as the Atman, him the papa karma will not touch. And little higher thought, Vedanta के दृष्टि से पुण्य कर्म भी पाप ही है. Because anything gives phala. To get that phala, we have to be born as something or the other, somebody or the other. जन्म मरण चक्कर पुण्य कर्म से भी होता है. पुण्य भी पाप ही है. Therefore here when one word is used, न लिप्यते पाप है ना, पुण्य also उनको टच नहीं करेगा. तो ए टच नहीं करेगा मतलब जरूरत नहीं है. Why does one does punya? For getting sukha. How he is in Atmananda. What is the need of any temporary Vishay sukha? You know, see the dramas, thoughts in the earlier chapter. Na? Lokaha dukkha hetavaha, Vishayaha dukkha hetavaha. He clearly said in that earlier chapter में, 25th वाले में. तो he doesn't do even पुण्य. काहे के जाऊं वहां भी फिर से डर लगता है. दूसरों को देख कर डर के, देर ऑल्सो सम बॉस हैव टू सरेंडर. और वो दिन एक दिन खत्म हो जाएगा वो भी. लाइक ना यंगस्टर्स गो टू अमेरिका एंड ऑल फॉर जॉब्स एंड ऑल. वहां भी डर होता है. देयर समबडी बॉस ऑन योर हेड. अदर स्टूपिड फेलोज आर देयर टू ट्रबल यू. एंड नो वर्क इज परमानेंट एनीवेयर. एनीवे, थर्ड वन. नैनम कृताकृते तपतः. है ना. एनम दिस परमात्मा ज्ञानी को कृता आकृते, डूइंग और नॉट डूइंग. न तपतः, they won't torture him, they won't give him dukkha. Krita means doing of papa, akrita means not doing punya. पाप करना, पुण्य नहीं करना, और कुछ भी करना या कुछ भी नहीं करना. न तपता. The other way is what? A jiva, an ignorant person, a samsari, a non-realized person. He is continuously troubled by krita akrita. Now remember, God's grace. That was is not our first thought today in our introduction. Every thought, word, deed done by kaya vacha manasa, it has its consequence. We कहते हैं कृता अकृता, every of them will bind us. Yeah, krita means doing what's not to be done. Akrita, not doing what's to be done. Sin of omission and commission. That is why risk of avoiding to be avoided, risk of doing to be done. What is to be done? That's what our introduction today. भगवान ये साक्षात उस thought के लिए Uh, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad itself is authority. A Brahmagnani is freed from Krita Akrita so much so that a non-Gnani is touched by Krita and Akrita. Therefore, he should be very careful, sensitive to know what is to be done and do it definitely, to know what not to be done and avoid it. Otherwise, tapataha, he will be subjected to different bondages, miseries. कुछ भी करो, कुछ भी नहीं करो, जो करना है नहीं करो, नहीं करना tapatah. That's the meaning. Na enam krita krite tapatah. Quotation. This is see, when we are studying all of them, Upanishad alag alag reference lekar. See the knowledge becoming stronger and stronger. Elaborate also. Then evam hi asya सर्वे पापमानः प्रदूयन्ते. See, evam hi asya. So, of this person, in this way, having known the self, sarve papmanah, all the papa praduyante, they get totally eliminated or destroyed. Paragnani. Sanchita karma will anyway get destroyed. Agami nahi hoga. And even while working in this world, there's no concept of papa in his life anymore. Na sarve papmana praduyante. He is living life till the body is left, he lives. When he is living something or the other, he does it. That doings never become papa. Because sarve papmana praduyante, all papas from his life are destroyed because he is an Atma Jnani. So Atma Jnani जो भी करता है, it is not papa. आत्म अज्ञानी जो भी करता है वो पाप is a good conclusion, isn't it? पुण्य भी पाप है. Why? Because it will give you again and again new births. And it forces us to go through that bhoga. Always we think only negative. कि पाप करने का फल दुख भोगना पड़ता है. अरे भैया पुण्य का फल सुख भी भोग रहे हो ना. That also contradictory to sadhana. In fact, that is more dangerous than the kashta. When there are difficulties, at least we can turn to spirituality. When punya ka fal practically occur, we get every respect, love, bhoga, name, power, money. Uh, That fellow will never think about Paramatma. So, सुख में ही करे ना कोई नहीं करेंगे वो. Actually, a wise person's wisdom is in not doing punya. because वो ज्यादा फंसाएगा. उसका इंटॉक्सिकेशन, उसका चस्का है ना, उसका जो नशा ज्यादा होता है. That also takes us away from sadhana, Paramatma. And only Paramatma Prapti gives moksha, not punya punya phala. Swarga jao, Brahmalok jao. It's not moksha. So this is the meaning of evam hi asya sarve papmanaha praduyante. So taking the Puropakshi's question as a base, not only he is satisfactorily answered by giving clear explanation of that mantra which he quoted. Shankara Bhagavan is quoting some other Upanishads to substantiate what he said so that even an iota also the tentativeness or doubt should not be there in the mind. Regarding what? That the Jnani will no more be bound by any karma. पुण्य हो या पाप. नहीं तो फिर क्या फायदा. इतना मेहनत करके, इतना त्याग करके, इतना श्रवण करके, इतना ध्यान करके, I realize the self. And again when I do karma, punya papa will touch me, then I will be going to Swarga Naraka. What is the use of, then you can't call it moksha only. Therefore it has to be very clearly told. All things should be clearly told. Sakama karma is bandhana hetu. निष्काम कर्म अंतकरण शुद्धि हेतु ज्ञान प्राप्ति एवं मोक्ष हेतु. All of them have to very clearly, undoubtedly, 100% understood, convinced. Actually, we have to live life like that. Do the karma for antakarana shuddhi, use shuddhanta antakarana for jnana prapti. Siddhanta jnana, sadhana jnana, anubhava jnana. हो गया. Now Linge means Linga Purana also talks about these things. We are given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 श्लोक दिए गए हैं. They're all in the flow. We will see that. First he says, Jnanagni sarva karmane bhasmasat kurute tatha. This comes in Gita also. That is what. After that only nahi jnanena sadusham prayutramidam. So jnana agni, what jnana? I am the Brahman. That anubhava jnana, agni, that's like a fire. Sarva karmani. Here sarva karmani is the sanchita agami. दोनों को भस्मसात कुरुते. It makes it to ashes. भस्म बनाना मतलब नामो निशान मिटाना मतलब seeing to that it's no more existing at all. To sarvakarmani bhasmasat kurute, whenever this word we listen in all our earlier discussions, that karma word we explained as the sanchita karma, the agami karma. Prarabdha will go through with the body only. That's the meaning of bhasma hona karma ka. That's the general meaning we take. संचित नाश है प्रारब्ध आगामी निर्माण नहीं होगा प्रारब्ध we just go through 1 2 3 days 35 shlokas 30 Adi Shankara spoke about prarabdha in Viveka Chudamani. We chanted 2 days back only. But here karma means what? As in the discussion, punya papa karma. Those karmas as Ishvara's Leela. Bless someone and get into oblivion in the world, not become cause of the karma phala by becoming punya or papa. तो एक ज्ञानी का किया हुआ कर्म लोक के सेवा में कुछ है तो होगा सेवा, उसके अलावा उस कर्म फल देने लायक नहीं रहेगा. दैट्स द मीनिंग ऑफ भस्म सात कुरुते. Here in this context, the other context, Agami Sanchita are destroyed. Prarabdha we anyway go through. You can't avoid it. Even a jnani has Sharira, Prarabdha to Sharira. But Bhagavan Adi Shankara talks little deeper there towards the last 7 slokas. Prarabdha is to the Sharira. He is not attached to Sharira. Therefore, that Prarabdha also is not his. And he goes to the higher level. The whole body is born out of delusion. On the deluded thing, how can there be prarabdha? He talks that. Then why did the Shruti herself talk? Iti Shankavato Jadan. The fellows who are Jadamadhi and they are in Shanka and doubt that a Jnani also is doing something or the other, उसका फल होगा कि नहीं होगा. ऐसे मूर्खों का आंसर देने के लिए श्रुति टॉक्स की प्रारब्ध की बात करती. Otherwise, how can there be prarabdha to a Brahmagyan? There are very different levels of discussion there. Viveka Chudamani last. Yesterday we concluded. Now, Jnanagni sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute. Opposite of it is when the Atma Jnana Agni is not lighted or invoked, then karma will do bhasma of we, the jiva, by giving the phala. मर के फिर से जन्म लेना पड़ता है. मर गया तो शरीर का भस्म हो ही जाता है. Okay. Then Jnaninaha sarva karmani jiryante natra samshayah kridannapi nalipyeta papair nanavidhairapi. लिंग पुराण के श्लोक. ज्ञानिनः अविज्ञानी सर्व कर्माणि all karmas jiryante, they get destroyed. Natra samshayah, never keep a doubt about it. After atmajnana still such the karmas are there, then you will be having more and more birth. ऐसा नहीं है. सर्व कर्माणि जीर्यन्ते only. Then while living in this life, kridannapi, even though he is living the life which is like a sport now, nalipyeta, he will not be tainted by papaihi, papakarma, nanavidhaihi. He may be, for the onlooker, doing lot of papa, but still he is not touched by them. That's the Gnani. That's why two types of Gnanis we see. There's the traditional Guru Shishya Parampara Gnani. They, to set the trend for the next generation of Shishya, they systematically live as they lived earlier before the Gnana Prapti for the Gnana Prapti. ज्ञान पाने से पहले ज्ञान पाने के लिए जिस तरह का डिसिप्लिन जीवन जीना था वैसे ही वो जिएंगे इवन आफ्टर ज्ञान बिकॉज दे आर इन परंपरा they have to guide the next generation of students. But these other jnanis are there in the form of avadhuta and all. They have no parampara. And then you can see in their life, वो लोग किसी को डंडा मारेंगे थूकेंगे पैर मारेंगे लात बुरे बुरे गालियां भी देंगे you can see them. He is also Gnani. How many things he does? Do you mean to say that he is doing Papa there? That is the meaning here. This Gnani is a parampara mein, isliye he just disciplinedly lives. Other one doesn't need. He will behave as he wants, but still he will not be touched by Papa because he is in the Atmanubhuti. Then actually those even Gali Wali will to clear the prarabdha of that fellow sometimes and to teach to the jiva who is deeply engrossed in being a samsari उसको पढ़ाने के लिए ये डांट लगाते हैं वहाँ उसको समझाने के लिए and that jiva himself doesn't know that individual that he is treating the jiva in me to shift from samsara to spirituality. Does like we don't know the doctor does our heart operation. So too, sometime what guru do our heart operation, we don't know spiritual heart. इसलिए वो लोग करते कभी बट पाप टच नहीं करेगा सो जीरियंते नात्र संशय क्रीडन्नपि न लिप्येत पापैः नानाविधैर seemingly variety of papas are appearing through him but न लिप्येत that is the power of jnana again and again doesn't mean that he does papa deliberately idea is even if it happens it's not a papa next one now Shiva Dharmottara Purana लिंग पुराण का एक दो श्लोक बोला नवशिव धर्मोत्तर में कहते हैं कि तस्मात् ज्ञानासिनाथूर्णम अशेषम कर्म बंधनम कामा काम कृतम छित्वा शुद्ध्या शुद्ध्यात्मनि तिष्ठति शुद्धश्चात्मनि तिष्ठति so tasmat therefore jnana asina with the sword of knowledge Turnam immediately, Ashesham, every of the Karma Bandhanam, all Karma Bandhanas, which are they? Kama Akama Kritam, done with Nishkama Bhava or Sakama Bhava, Chitva, cut asunder, all those karmas done. Sakama or Nishkama or Punya or Papa by the Jnana ka talwar, Jnana Asina, Chitva. Then what to do next? Shuddha hacha, thus purify yourself. Atmani tishtati. Such wise person gets established in his original Atmasthiti. Again, I read the shloka. Tasmat jnanasina turnam ashesham karma bandhanam kama akama krutam turnam kama kama krutam chitva shuddha cha atmani tishtati. काम अकाम कृतम अशेषम कर्मबंधनम तूर्णम ज्ञान असिना छित्वा शुद्ध च आत्मनि तिष्ठति तो आत्मज्ञान के खड्ग से सारे कर्म बंधन को तोड़कर establishing the atmanubhuti. Feel these slokas and their meanings. Oh, that's the state of being. Then try for it if it is enchanting, if you find interest in it. नहीं तो फंसे रहो welcome. When you are happy in the samsara, why will anybody like the thought which helped me? If people are happy not coming to classes, why should I be miserable? Let them be happy. Wherever they are, khush raho. In the same way, if we choose to be worldly, don't want to get that jnana khadga and cut us under all karma bandhana, want to be involved in karma kshetra, the punya papa, तथास्तु जाहि विधि चाहिए ताहि विधि रहो यथेच्छ से तथा करो दैट्स द मीनिंग ओके नेक्स्ट वन इज यथा वह्निर्महान् दीप्तः शुष्कमार्द्रं च निर्दहेत् तथा शुभाशुभं कर्म ज्ञानाग्निर्दहते क्षणात् like the blazing fire burns the fuel or the wood, whether it is dry or even wet. शुष्कम ड्राइड आर्द्रम वेट शुष्क हो या आर्द्र हो उस ईंधन को अग्नि जो फुल्ली ब्लेजिंग है जला देता है इन द सेम वे द ज्ञानाग्नि ऑल्सो तथा शुभाशुभम कर्म whether it is शुभ और अशुभ जो भी संचित में है all of that ज्ञानाग्नि दहते the fire of knowledge burns kshanat in that very moment. Because that Atmanubhuti, once it clicks, immediately we know there's nothing called as Upadhi, nothing as karma, never happened. I am totally away from it. That's a different state. Suddenly declutch हो जाते हैं तब तक जो किए हुए संचित जो अदरवाइज सो मेनी लॉरी ट्रैक्टर्स में भरा हुआ है like the person officer so many works he does सुबह से लेकर शाम तक once he just gives up that job or retires all things get declutched. He need not go on time, he need not do this or that, he need not sign, he need not call or summon the subordinates, he need not order. सारे cut हो गए because he retired, resigned. So when we retire into resign into Atma Jnana, all the things get declutched. Like that, 3-4 shlokas more, we'll see them tomorrow. Om, 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 Om. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Parabrahmane Parabrahmane Shruti Matre Namo Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu. Right.